comes to shopping, there is nothing quite like the thrill of finding a hidden gem, and that is what I love about thrifting. You can come across a piece that looks ordinary, but with a little bit of transformation can become something extraordinary. I found this large white tray at my thrift store. I loved the size. The cutout detail along the edges is so pretty, and the oval shape is unique. And of course, you cannot beat the price of $3.99. In fact, when I went to wash this, I flipped it over and I found out that originally it's from IKEA, so I know that we have saved ourselves a lot of money by purchasing this tray at the thrift store. There are a few things that we need to fix on our tray. The first is that there were some areas where the paint had chipped, and then also there are some rust areas that need to be sanded down and covered up. So I got a fine grit sandpaper and I sanded over the rust areas and also the chip paint so that everything was smooth, and then I washed it off to get all the dust and debris off so it'd be nice and clean for painting. I am going to repaint our white tray white, so I took it outside and I got some white gloss Rustoleum spray paint. I painted all over the tray. I made sure that the areas that were chipped or rusted got a thorough coat of paint. Once everything was covered in the white spray paint, I let it dry for 1 hour. Now it's time to spruce up our tray. We are going to do it with some cardstock. I had this book of cardstock, and inside was a really pretty blue and white rose cardstock. I loved this design. I'm going to cut out these flowers. I started off with just a pair of scissors, but there was a lot of indents and details that needed to be cut away, so I ended up switching over to an X-Acto knife and a self-healing mat. You can use either one, it'll work both ways. I'm cutting my flowers out individually because one piece of cardstock would not fit across the entire bottom, the oval part, and I didn't want to see a seam where I tried to align the pieces together. So what I'm going to do is just cut away these individual flowers and place them sporadically throughout the bottom of the tray. So once all of my roses were cut out, I did a quick dry run. I added them to the bottom of the tray and moved them around to put them in the correct spot. Then I got some Mod Podge and a sponge brush, and I painted the Mod Podge onto the bottom of the tray. I placed my cardstock blue and white roses over the Mod Podge. I continued adding the Mod Podge and positioning the roses on the tray until everything was in place. Then I let this first layer dry for about an hour. Then I added a top layer of Mod Podge over the roses and the tray. I added a decent amount. I want everything to be coated really well in the Mod Podge. This top layer of Mod Podge will protect the tray and the cardstock. It also adds a nice sheen to the top of the tray. Once the Mod Podge had been covered over the entire surface of the tray, I let it dry for 3 hours. And here is our gorgeous tray all dressed up. I love these roses. They are so pretty. I love the blue and white, and you could use any paper that fits your style or season. The possibilities are endless on this project. There are so many ways that you can display this tray as well. You could put it on a frame stand. You could use it as a tray and put decorative objects on it as well. Because we put Mod Podge over the paper, it's sealed so you could use it for food. I've never seen anything quite like this tray, and that is what makes thrifting so special. You can take a regular piece and customize it to your liking and to your style. Sometimes when I'm shopping at my thrift store, I come across pieces and I'm like, why did somebody give this away? Right? One man's trash is another man's treasure. Well, I found an amazing treasure. Look at this gorgeous blue and white ginger jar. I love the size, the detail. The color is so saturated and beautiful. I loved the blue. In fact, there wasn't anything that I didn't like about this jar. And the icing on the cake was that it was only $6.99. So I grabbed that so fast and I brought it home. Don't worry, we are not gonna do anything to this jar. We are gonna leave it as is, but we are going to add some embellishments. So I headed over to Hobby Lobby and I was looking for some white ribbon. The ribbon wasn't on sale in the regular section, so I went over to the holiday section and all of the Christmas was 50% off, and I found a spool of this white velvet ribbon. So pretty. It was only $5.99 with 50% off. It was only $3, so it was a great bargain. So here's a tip. If you can't find what you're looking for or it's not on sale in your regular everyday section, I always find some basic pieces in the holiday section. So if you want to find something on sale, look in that holiday section or the clearance section. A lot of times you'll find some things there. So to go along with my ribbon, I needed some fall leaves. So I headed over to the fall section a few aisles over and I found a package of these sparkly leaves. They were 40% off, so this package was just over $1. I cut a long segment of this velvet ribbon and then I got my sparkly leaves. They are stickers, and so all I needed to do was remove the backing over the sticker part, and then I pressed it on the ends of the ribbon. Because the knob on my jar is just teeny tiny, I knew that my ribbon would not stay on it. So I got some double-sided tape and I placed it on the knob, and then I put the center of the ribbon around the tape. Then I simply tied my ribbon into a bow. You could leave it like this, but we are going to add just a little bit more fall embellishments. When I was at Michael's, all of the florals were 40% off in the fall section. So I got a stem of white leaves. I took one of these branches off, and then I got a stem of blueberries, and I put that over the white leaves. Then I got a segment of floral wire, wrapped it around my stem of leaves and berries, and then I took the excess wire that was coming off of the top, wrapped it around the knob, and then tucked it under the ribbon that was around the top of the jar. And then I twisted the wire in the back. You cannot even see the wire that's holding these leaves and berries onto the jar. It just disappears. I love this seasonal touch that we added to the center of the bow. And just like that, we have taken our beautiful ginger jar and themed it into fall. This was so easy to do, but I absolutely love the way that this looks. You could use this technique for every season. You could put some snowflakes on the end of the ribbons for winter. You could do Easter eggs for spring. You could do anchors or flowers for summer. This is such a versatile technique. And again, you could customize the florals that you put in the center as well. I've also done this technique with some pumpkins. I got a navy blue ribbon and then I added some gold leaves to the bottom. So this is a fun way to create some unique custom ribbon for the changing seasons and holidays. Now I'm going to take my jar and I'm going to add it to my tray, and I'm going to put the pumpkins on it. I'm going to put a stem of leaves. I'm going to add an acorn, and it just finishes off this table so beautifully. I love this centerpiece. We were able to create it with items that we purchased from the thrift store that with a little bit of embellishment took these regular thrifted pieces into spectacular items of home decor. I'm really excited about our next transformation. I guess I should say transformations because there are two of them. I came across these beautiful glass vases. There was a pair of them. I loved the size and the shape. The base had a beautiful tiered detail on it, and the price was a screaming deal at $1.99 a piece. We are going to be painting these glass vases, and we are not going to be painting the outside. We are going to be painting the inside because we are going to be adding some decorative details to the outside later on. So what I did was I got some blue painter's tape and copy paper and protected the outside of the vase. Then I took my vases outside and I sprayed the inside in some gold Rustoleum spray paint. I made sure that the entire inside of the vase was sprayed in the paint. Once both of the vases were coated on the inside with the gold spray paint, I let it dry for 1 hour. While the paint is drying, we are going to get our design ready. A couple weeks ago, I was organizing my paper napkins in a mesh organizer, so I had to go through all of my paper napkins, and I found these beautiful blue and white floral napkins that I had purchased a long time ago at Home Goods for only $2.99. And I knew that they would be perfect for this project. Like our cardstock roses that we put on our tray, we are going to be cutting out these flowers individually. The first thing I did was I removed the 2-ply portion of the napkin, and then I got my scissors out and started cutting away these flowers. Now, this took a lot of effort to do, and it was really time consuming, so I enlisted the help of my daughter. She came and helped me cut out all these flowers, which was fun to sit and chit chat with her while we cut all these out. Once I had my desired amount of flowers, I laid them out, and then I got my vase, which had been dried, and I removed the paper on it. Then I got a sponge brush and some Mod Podge. I painted the Mod Podge onto the vase, and then I simply placed my flowers right into the Mod Podge and then smoothed them out. I continued to add the Mod Podge and place the flowers. I love the way that this looks. It carries those beautiful florals from the top all the way to the bottom. After all of my flowers had been Mod Podged onto the vase, I let everything dry for 2 hours. The reason why I let this first layer of Mod Podge dry for 2 hours is because the napkin is so thin that if I added the top layer right now, it would just tear the napkin. So we're gonna let it dry, and then after 2 hours, I came back and I added the top layer of Mod Podge, and I put the Mod Podge all over the vase. And then I let it dry for an additional 2 hours. Look at how gorgeous these vases are now. They are unique, they are one of a kind. I could see a vase like this on a very expensive website or in a high-end store. I personally haven't seen anything like this. Now, of course, to finish it off, we've got to put some flower arrangements in our vases. So I got some hydrangea in blue and orangey cream, along with some iris and gladiolas. And I simply just placed them inside the center of our vase. I mimicked both floral arrangements to look just like each other. Check these out now. Look at how beautiful these look. Oh my goodness, I absolutely love it. And to think that these started out as the $1.99 thrifted vases that we added paint and napkins to, and that was it. So it was a really affordable way to create some unique custom pieces. I can use these vases all year long, and all I need to do to theme them into a different season is to change the florals inside. I'm gonna take each one of these and I'm gonna put them on the nightstands in my bedroom to add a little bit of a fall touch to the space. What makes them fall is the color of the orangish cream hydrangeas, and it's still in keeping with the blue and white theme that I have in my room. Now, wasn't this a fun journey to find these pieces at the thrift store? They were hidden gems that just needed a little bit of embellishment, a little bit of a color change in order to take them over the top. These thrifted items are a cost-efficient way to help me to decorate for the changing seasons and holidays. Finding and flipping affordable pieces like this is a great way to help you to live beautifully, and we want to be able to do that on a budget. So hopefully you saw that we can do that. You can do that. All you need to do is head to a thrift store. I hope you got some inspiration or some ideas today of how you can take some thrifted items and flip them into something extraordinary. If you like this video and want to see more like it, I would love to have you subscribe so I can share those with you. Thank you so much for watching.